Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, we get ourselves prepared for some super speedway racing action at Daytona International Speedway as the drivers from the Wicked Racing League finally get done with their 2 short tracks in a row stint of madness and chaos. They settle in, get prepared, because tonight you might need some of those enemies that you created these last 2 weeks to be your ally to get to victory lane here this evening. We can't wait for it, as tonight's race is going to be the Military and Veteran Gamers 200 at Daytona. We get to give you all the coverage here on your Wednesday evening on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me is Zach Hall. And Zach, Daytona drivers have certainly got a lot to fill this past week if they've been watching us here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. And with the real-life Daytona right around the corner, hopefully the drivers got in their practice or have gotten their notes ready for tonight.
Here at the beautiful World Center of Racing, they better have got their practice done because, man, it's going to be a wild night we have underneath ourselves here at the Wicked Racing League at the Daytona International Speedway. The drivers are going to have to conquer these tough high banks, and I think what makes it even tougher is some of these guys coming in here, I think, are having a little bit of fear in their mind, having done a few practice races this week and seeing how difficult and tough this track can be already with how this setup is performing. This is a fixed setup from iRacing. And so far, a lot of people have said they've been feeling uncomfortable, so they're going to have to conquer those fears very quickly. And when you're going at speeds upwards of 190 to 200 mile an hour, it can easily all go wrong in just one moment. So I think tonight we might see a little bit of a wild one mixed up, and you never know who could end up in victory lane.
Uncomfortably loose has been the phrase been thrown out a lot as drivers. Usually we're never talking about tire wear and how that was going to influence races. Well, tonight, that could be one of the biggest talking points for this evening once we get our race started. But like I said, this race is sponsored by that of the Military and Veterans Gamers 200, and we have a special guest that is going to be joining us here for our pre-race show. Going to be talking a little bit more about our head sponsor this evening. We're going to be bringing in Austin from that of the Military and Veterans Gamer program, and Austin, we would love to just learn more about this amazing program that's going to be sponsoring tonight's race.
Thanks so much, gentlemen, for allowing us to sponsor it and be here tonight. Excited for another fun race. So, I am Austin. I'm the community manager at Military Veteran Gamers Charity. We started about 4 years ago, a group of active duty and retired veterans. We were tired of other charities who do good work in their own right, but they're making millions of dollars in salary and only a small portions going back to the veterans, and we wanted to do better. So here, everything goes back to the veterans. Less than 1% goes back into the paperwork and the fees that we have to pay. Everything's back to the vet. Everybody is a volunteer. Nobody here takes a paycheck. We're all here because we love what we do, and we're here to support our brothers and sisters and service dogs.
I mean, it's an amazing service there, Austin. What else do you have for them?
So our main program right now is called Keys to Healing, where we get PCs built and sent out to veterans in need, be it for work, school, whatever they might need there. Up until recently, we also had a 24/7 mental health support team, though we have recently disbanded that program and chosen to partner with some other charities that are better established there so we can focus ourselves a little more and do what we do well. Our motto here is healing through gaming. A lot of people underestimate how well video games helps individuals come together. We don't need to be in person to come together as a family to help and support each other, to have that camaraderie and friendship. It also helps a lot treat anxiety, PTSD, and other issues which are very present among our vets, as I'm sure you all know. Coming back from downrange and even working here in the States is an extremely stressful job. So we're here to support each other. Everybody's family here.
That is an amazing program, Austin, and we're so thankful to have you sponsoring tonight's race. Where can people go to get more information if they'd like to donate or be a part of this program?
If anybody would like to donate or be a part of this program, you can find us listed on the PayPal charities, Streamlabs charity. You can also go to mvgcharity.org. And then if anybody wants to help out, you can email us at hq@mvgcharity.org, or you can find us on Discord. The Discord invite is simply military, and you will come right into our server.
That is going to be Austin from Military and Veterans Gamers. Thank you so much for giving us more information on this amazing sponsor that we have for tonight's race. Can't wait for more racing action in Austin. Have a good one and enjoy watching tonight's race.
Thank you again for having us.
As we go from talking about an amazing sponsor and a charitable program, I know we just got done with our charity race this past Saturday here at Daytona, and Zach, qualifying's underway for this race as drivers just got done with their warm-up lap. It's time for these lap times to start counting, as some drivers already setting up for this first lap.
That's got to be the question I think that we got to ask ourselves here is how do you go about the preparation of this lap? Do you go on the first lap and build the momentum by running up top, or do you go straight away to run that fast time? I know recently it has changed to where that first lap has been the fastest way around, but I think from what we've seen in our charity race especially, those second laps were actually the quickest ones. As right now we got Mason Halsman topping that board with the 50 flat there with his first lap. So we'll see if someone can find a little bit more speed. Looks like a few other drivers electing to take that second lap speed. So we'll see if that equates to what we see. And it could possibly be a very important factor because, starting up front here with how loose this race car has been talked about, it can very easily get you out of the mix. When you're in the middle of that pack, when things happen, it's so hard to miss wrecks. I think you want to definitely start yourself up front if you have that choice here tonight.
Definitely, as right now, Carl Pooler going to be the top of the board currently right now for that limitless machine. Seeing other drivers trying to come up and take that top spot. Now able to do so. Mason Hausman is going to be second. Richard Wolsifer going to be third. We'll take that back, bounce him to fourth. First now going to go to Steven Stimpian. That second lap faster for the 81. And Ryan Thomas, who's been on a hot streak, going to be in that third place for the 40 machine. TJ Roberts, who won this race last season, going to be in fourth as everyone getting those final couple of laps in. And it's looking like, Zach, everyone is out on track trying to at least get one lap in, and no one is going with the strategy of just put me in the back.
That was what it definitely looks like here, Sam. So everybody trying to get the best position they can to start off this event. And Alexander Light, as we're talking, comes through with his second lap, and he's going to put it at the top of the board with a 49.97. So a great qualifying time there by Alexander Light to put himself up on pole position. So two limitless cars at the moment right now, first and fourth, as Dallas Manis there takes the second position in the 45 machine. So it does look that second lap around has been the way to go.
And it's going to be so close, almost identical times for the top two drivers. And it's going to be rounded up for that of Alexander Light, going to take that topper echelon for himself. I mean, just showing drivers are going to be so close to one another on these times. That of first place all the way down to that of 21st position, all within a tenth of one another. Just showing super speedway racing, it's full throttle. You got to have the picture perfect lap. And right now, Alexander Light has that time for himself. Brad Delph going to be trying his opportunity to make his second lap faster than Alexander Light, as well as Nigel Christensen. You see the 20 on screen, about to run out of time. And this first lap is going to be the only lap that's going to be able to count, it looks like. And I don't even know if the 20 is going to get a lap in.
It doesn't even look like he'll be able to possibly get this in. Is this going to be a seconds clicking away? And he luckily does by 1 second. He's going to get that lap time in, but it looks like it's not going to count for anything, so it's going to keep him in 27th. So no lap there for Nigel Christensen as it comes to an end, and Alexander Light holds on to the pole.
Going to be seeing 27 drivers expected to race here tonight, and we're excited for it as we are going to be having the Wicked Racing League Season 2 tonight. Is race number 6 of the regular season, as it's going to be that of the Military and Veterans Gamers 200. Let's take a look at those qualifying results. Alexander Light, Dallas Manis going to be taking the top two positions in that front row by the 6 and the 45 by almost identical times between the two. Then it's going to be status Steven Stimpian in third place. Carl Pooler is going to be in fourth, with Ryan Thomas in fifth. TJ Roberts, again, who won this race last season, going to be back in sixth place with that Mason Hausman in seventh. Richard Wolsifer eighth. Ninth is going to be Steve Cole, and as well Gavin Rogers finishing out our top 10.
The 11th position is going to go to the 9 car of Chad Bean. Stephen Borbell is going to take it home in 12th. 13th is going to be Ryan Harrison. 14th is going to be Giovanni Perez D'Amco. 15th place going to be Dakota Camper. 16th is going to be Nicholas Renner. 17th is going to be Gregory Shaw. And then 18 of Blaine Wilson will qualify 18th, with 19th going to Brad Delph, and the top 20 rounding out with Michael Giamini.
Then in 21st position, going to be the number 8 machine of Jimmy Kubinek. Then it's going to be the 47 of Johnny Shade, who was on a pretty good tear there at Super Speedways for the 47 at the end of last season. We'll see if he can bring some magic for himself to get to victory lane. Christian DeRoche is going to be at 23rd. 24th is going to go to the 5 of Adam Buzzio. That of Alex Coffey, winner from last week's very aggressive, that some would think controversial win for the 7, going to be starting back in 25th. 26th going to be that of Cody Reed, our winner from Watkins Glen, and Nigel Christensen finishing out our 27 drivers to race here tonight. 28th is going to be that of Race Control by the 54 of Rev. Thank you so much to Rev for being our race control for tonight's race, as the drivers about to get themselves set up and starting up front. Zach, a lot of drivers excited for tonight's race. I know we here at Super Speedways get to talk to a driver. Who are you thinking about that we maybe want to think about pulling up into the booth?
Well, I tell you, we got a good group of drivers up there starting near the front of the field, but maybe we should talk to that guy that's qualified on the outside of that front row there, Dallas Manis, who, like we said, tied pretty much from our scoring, but that 4th digit we didn't get to see, but he was so close to that pole position.
He was so close to getting in, and he certainly should be a driver to watch out for. Let's see if we can get word from the 45 of Dallas. Dallas, it's Sam and Zach up at the booth. You got us?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Well, you come away second, practically identical times with that of Alexander Light. Man, how are you feeling coming into tonight after that great qualifying run?
I'm feeling pretty good. Just got to stay out of trouble, Anything can happen at Daytona, so just try to keep it clean to the end.
Yeah, Dallas, I tell you, great qualifying lap there, man. Congrats on getting the outside pole there. Tell us how this setup feels, because we've heard a lot of thoughts about how it's just very unstable here.
It gets loose about after 10 laps, so it's going to be pretty interesting. Just got to keep, like I said, keep it clean and to the end there, and hopefully everybody stays patient.
We hope for that patience to be there, Dallas. Good luck here tonight, and hopefully we'll be talking to you at the end of this race.
Appreciate you.
So that's going to be the 45 of Dallas Manis from that is CNC Esports, as the drivers stacked and ready to go. Seeing some schemes looking similar. Those are going to be the Limitless drivers, all in almost identical schemes, rocking that of the Military and Veterans Gamers 200. As we're out of turn number 4, let's get ready to go to Green Flag Racing here tonight. Race number 6. We certainly got to see some great fireworks the last couple of weeks. Well, the green flag is out. Let's get Super Speedway Racing here, as Alexander Light, as well as Dallas Manis, rocket their way down into turn number 1.
Great start from the bottom lane. There's just going to be 3 cars led by Alexander Light, Steven Stippian, and Ryan Thomas, as they look to pull forward here and make something happen. Looks like Ryan Thomas immediately jumping up to that outside lane, and we have seen here previously with this next-gen Cup Series car, that outside lane has been very strong, so maybe those drivers fighting to get themselves up there, but I will say also that is a place that is known to be a little bit more loose when it comes off the exit of these corners, so you're going to have to watch that top side for having big moments.
How do you keep these cars stable? And for now, it's that of Alexander Light, Steven Stippian, going to be our front 2 on the inside lane. Going to be holding strong, and as they come out of turn number 4, here comes the 40 machine. Ryan Thomas with a head of steam, but he won't lead lap number 1. It goes to the 6 from Limitless, Alexander Light.
Great job there by Ryan to get to that lead position, but just not at the start-finish line. But got it here down into 1 as he made that decision very early to jump up to that top side, and it seems like it's definitely benefited him. He's had that 45 of Manis all over the back bumper. He's had also the 3 machine of TJ Roberts jump up there, so great group of cars up in that top lane looking to power them forward here as they go down the back straightaway and head into green floor.
Right on board with TJ Roberts as the 3 machine, going to be 3rd in line on that of the top end. And drivers already getting that loose sensation, and oh, there goes the 3 down into the pit side wall. He'll smash into the wall on that of the bottom, but he's off the racing line here, Zach. We keep it green.
Off the racing line, no yellow there due to that incident going down off the bottom of the racetrack. And another driver who had a major hiccup there with all the checkups, Gavin Rogers in the 77. He has lost the draft in the 77 machine back in 2014, having to go through the grass. He did a good job of not coming back up on the racing surface and causing any issues. But right there just shows stuff can happen so quickly. We were only on lap, the second lap of the race right there when that happened. And this thing can sneak up and bite you. So the driver's going to have to stay on top of that. It's not just push full force all night long. You're going to have to also manhandle these cars.
Full bore immediately, and a couple of drivers thinking on the later runs of this race. Alex Coffey, Mason Houseman didn't get to touch on this as we were taking off. Both of those drivers starting in pit road. They did not want to be a part of this madness. As you see, the 4 tires, fuel, and a fast repair. The 3 is back out on track, but 1 lap down.
Tough break there for TJ Roberts, who is a past super speedway winner here at the Wicked Racing League. So tough deal for him how this race started off. But with the 2 stage breaks we have coming up at lap 20 and lap 40 here tonight, he does have a possibility to get that lucky dog and get back on the lead lap. He's just going to have to hope that not many others join him there, and then it will be as much of a battle as we ride on board with the 81 Steven Stippian. He's right here sitting 6th with 5 cars in front of him in this bottom row.
That's sitting in a pretty comfortable spot. And, drivers, we're talking about super speedways, anyone could win from any position that you qualify in. And we're already seeing that right now. Nigel Christensen in the top 10 already as we're looking back from that of seeing from the 81 and Steven Stippian. I mean, Christensen up to 8th place here, Zach, up 19 spots from where he started.
Making up huge spots just like he did in that charity race we had just this past Saturday. If you haven't seen his ride through the field, missing an incident coming through the checker flag there, go check that out on our Freaky Fast social medias, because that was one of the most wild moments. And it looks like he's already doing a good job here of gaining positions early in this race to get himself up here. But what's another wild thing to see is this is a 14-car breakaway. We've got all the way back to Johnny Shade from Ryan Thomas here in these first 14 cars. Then it's back to Stephen Borbell, about 5 seconds in that 2 machine, our winner at Talladega, the season opener. So it looks like that second group is really trying to be very conservative here to start this race off.
Well, they were side by side. I think the side draft was what broke off this group, and they were side by side for so long and too small of a pack that they just lost so much ground to our leaders. And even in line like they are, still slower than our leaders that are side by side. It's just showing maybe they need to stack up a little bit more, as we're seeing the front 2 of this pack, that of Stephen Borbell as well as Nicholas Renner, who's back out on track for the 19 for his attempt here at Wicked, and Adam Buzzio. That group just not as closed in and as packed as you'd like if you're trying to close in on the pack ahead of you, as that Ryan Thomas going to be dropping down. Drivers back onto the tri-oval. First yellow is out. The second pack trying to slow up as they're closing in onto the madness.
Aggressive moves being made there that brought this yellow out. And I feel Ryan Thomas was trying to go for it and closing that bottom lane, but he just had a car to his inside. So it's tough when you're that car on the bottom. You can't really just check up because it will cause even a major incident there. So tough breaks all around here as we're going to get to see this. I believe it's the 96 of Stephen Cole, who's the driver that's going to get involved in that with Ryan Thomas. So wild moments here already to start this race off in the first stage.
And I was actually part of these drivers' practice race yesterday, where they were getting a handful and really their true tough task of how they knew this car was going to react coming into the night. And this incident that we're going to see the replay of was a incident happened about 2 or 3 times. A lot of drivers just trying to make what I call lazy moves. We're going to see the 40 coming down, instead of being very aggressive and assertive on trying to take his positioning, just lets the car drift down, and then your car that's below you closes in the gap faster than you're expecting, and contact is made like you see there.
Yeah, nothing that the 96 of Steve T. Cole could do there. That was unfortunate timing there for him, and just being on the bottom and the 40 deciding to make that move, and then the 56 of Richard there, he breaks his right front with that collision to the wall. And already a good group of drivers with major damage, but it's going to be the 56 that's got the worst, because he's got the required damage flag. So he's going to have to come down here already early in this race and take that fast repair for that 56.
And before the woes of the victim of the 56, praises give to the 3 of TJ Roberts, who's going to get the lucky dog for that incident. 3 will get back onto the lead lap, but for Richard Wolsifer, I mean, that is terrible to see, especially after the bad luck that he had last week at Bristol. Found himself already using up his fast repair in the first 5 laps of that race. Here in the first 10 laps, already having to use a fast repair. it has been a tough couple of weeks for the 56, who's now at this point, your safety net's gone. You gotta race very conservative from here on out if you want to make it to the end of this race.
That's always the toughest thing as a driver when you do have that safety net, so-called, as a fast repair to automatically fix your car. When it gets used up in the first 10 laps of a race, and you know you got a stage coming up at 20 and also at 40, that makes you very concerned because you know that you're going to have to be very conservative and just try to focus on staying on the lead lap and just not getting in the mix. You know, you want to go for stage points to get those points, but the risk of trying to go for those stage points can easily end up causing major wrecks that you get caught up into, and then that your night can quickly be over even before the first stage points pay out. So it's one of those tough deals if you're a driver, but you just gotta be conservative and try to do your best to stay out of everybody else's mess.
And because of being the reasoning of the caution, going to be given the EOL is the 40 of Ryan Thomas, so he'll drop from that of 5th place to the end of the line. But like we were touching on with seeing Nigel Christensen's moves, I mean, from last place to 3rd now, getting ready for this restart.
That's amazing to see, personally. I was just looking through the order. I mean, he's done a great job to get up the 3rd. Even Johnny Shade from 22nd to 5th. So we've already seen a good bit of drivers move on up into this front half of the field. And you love that if you're one of those drivers. I mean, you want to have track position here. This is a track that, you can make passes. It is very easily to make passes. When it gets too wide and the setup is already a little bit on eggshells and tough to drive, it makes making that 3rd lane to make passes easier even that much more tough. So if you're one of those drivers, you're probably saying, man, I've already gained a lot of track position. I'm up in a good spot now. Now I just need to ride and stay in position here so I can try to miss any little bit of a mess that happens here mid-pack.
And, even with the drivers right now, they also have to recognize that there's still a lot of racing to go. Again, like you note on there, Zach, we have 2 stages, stage breaks that we'll be throwing out yellows for, as first stage break's going to be at the end of lap 20. Our second stage break will be at the end of lap 40, and with finishing in the top 10, you will get bonus points, 10 bonus points if you win the stage, 9 for second, and it continues to dwindle down by 1 point each position until 10th place you get 1 bonus point. And the points are going to be important because there's been a couple of drivers that were inside of our top 12 that have moved away from racing in Wicked Racing League or have decided to go part-time racing. On note, Christopher Norris, who came in 11th in points tonight, that 38 is now officially not racing in Wicked League Racing, has decided to pull away. And for the notice, in that of 6th place, the highest of all drivers points-wise that will no longer be racing full-time, Cedric Hunter part-time racing, because he's going to be, he's a father now, and so that going to see the 31 part-time racing. Those are 2 spots that are wide open to be grabbed if you're someone outside looking in, like Nigel Christensen, who's 13th in points.
That's exactly right, Sam. It's really opened up the door now for multiple drivers to come up into those positions to make the playoffs, and that's something that you got to be knowing as a driver, saying, hey, I got a better shot now even with 2 of these people out of my way. And you got to go out there and try to be consistent as possible to score those points that could valuably get you into those playoffs.
As the pace car lights are off, let's get rolling as we got another 10 laps to go before our first stage break of the night. As we are back to Green Flag Racing for the Military and Veterans Gamers 200. It's going to be that Manis Stimpian ready to get themselves rolling down into turn number 1. Stimpian hoping to get some assistance on that outside lane as that of Dallas Manis. He's got Nigel Christensen, and the 20 looks very aggressive here tonight. He wants to use that bumper.
That he does. He was all over the back bumper of that 45, who's now lost the lead. Steven Stimpian, with the help of the 2 limitless cars there, Gregory Shaw and Alexander Light, have just flown to the front down the back straightaway, and just shows you when you get 3 cars locked up like that, you can create tons of speed. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this 6 and 51 try to make a move on this 81 to get themselves out in front of him due to them being teammates.
Taking notes from that of the Coca-Cola series that was running yesterday with their season opener. You build out a big enough lead and you can make any move you want on that lead driver. It just makes them a sitting duck, as Steven Stimpian really doesn't have any true allies except for that of Cody Reed back in 12th place. And being a lone driver out there, knowing you've got drivers behind you that are teammates and they're not allianced with you, it's a little bit of a fearing situation to be in if you're this 81.
That's very, very true, Sam. When you see the teammates lined up behind you, you know at some point they're going to make a move on you. You just got to be able to, hope that someone else is there to pick up their slack when they move out and give you the draft here to help. But you got Christensen in the 20 who's in 4th. If those two do move out to make the move on the 81, we could see him dive out there. But at the same time, the Limitless drivers, they may just be looking to ride here for now. They're in a good spot here if this race can single file out and try to get to the closing laps of this stage and be able to fight for a victory. Because if you go out there right now all by yourself, you could quickly fall back.
Well, we were single filed out all the way back to 15th place. We'll take that away. The 3, DJ Roberts already had to use his fast repair, and the 3 is getting giddy back here, trying to do some very aggressive side drafting moves to get away from that of Giovanni, and not going to be able to do so is the 3. But you look even deeper in the field, you see that Dakota, Camper in this second pack, side by side, and they are losing touch to the lead group.
It's tough when you're in this position like this. Losing this draft here is you're trying your best to stay up there to maybe get some stage points. But when you get side drafted and you just lose so much speed, even you can not only physically feel the speed drop and see the speed drop on the dashboard, but you can also hear it in the RPMs of the car. Is some crazy action. There's the 20 of Christensen. He is dropping back like a rock right here as he's pulled out to that high side and just did not work out for him. Sorry, actually that's Blaine Wilson in the 18 as he's dropping back here with also it was that 45 of Dallas Manis. So those two drop back very quickly. They're jumping out.
It's okay. The teammates messing with us, that of Blaine Wilson, that of Nigel Christensen. They used to be defined with their colors of that of the bright red, cherry red 18 before. And then Nigel used to be that lime green. Well, no longer. They're going to be white with a little bit of hint of red going to Blaine. That's going to be the differential color. As up front, this lead group, well, there's been a little bit of a change up because Cody Reed, Zach touched on the fact that the 25 was back in 12th place. Well, just in 2 laps, he's up to 6th now and trying to make the charge forward is the 25, as now he's on the back bumper of the 19 of Nicholas Renner, Renner and others trying to make the push forward.
This is good signs here for the 19 to 51 to 6 because the closer they get to the end of the stage, they're going to look to definitely team up on this outer groove and make something happen here. If I was them, I would be waiting as long as possible to keep this single file, and then coming to that last lap of the stage, you're going to look to jump out on that 81 and get that big run to get yourself to that lead position. We'll just have to see how this works out for these drivers.
5 more laps to go before the stage break is done as you are watching the Wicked Racing League. This is race number 6 of the season on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall commentating here tonight. Running production in the background is going to be Robert Moyer Jr. as these drivers are making the push forward. Only the top 10 get bonus points, and we're starting to see some movement of drivers up front. But as we're riding on board with Cody Reed here, Zach, always the good talking point of cannot see invisibility.
Visibility is everything when it comes to this racetrack. As you got some 3-wide action, Brad Delphin to block the outside line, and Christensen back there. But as you can see here, you just can't see that next car ahead of somebody. When you're in the driver's seat, it's just very, very tough. All you see is really that rear view windshield out the back of that Gen 7 Cup Series car, and it just makes everything that much more tough. And when they start to move around a little bit, yeah, you can see that car ahead, but when they're in a straight single file line, all you can see is pretty much that Ford Mustang in front of you.
As we were checking out this lead group right on board with the 71 Carl Cooler, issues for the second pack as we've got 4 laps to go, about to be coming to 3 to go. Drivers making some hard contact, that of Dakota Camper as well as Giovanni in the 11. Damaged heavily. The 11 machine, who is back in 24th position, required damage flag. He's got to come into pit road. The 43 back in 25th spot. He's very slow and off the pace. He might think about pit road or just hope to stay on the lead lap before this first stage break yellow comes out.
Looks like Giovanni's going to hit pit road there in the 11 machine. Tough break for him there as he had to come down and get that car repaired, as he does have a required damage flag. So tough breaks there for the 11. We'll see if he can get his fast repair done and get out here before this pack comes by to lap him, but they'll quickly be catching up to him here as they'll be coming by to complete lap number 18 and only have 2 laps to go in this stage. The outside line is starting to form up. Alex Coffey with Nigel Christensen in the 20, but here goes Greg Shaw. He jumps up top. His teammate Alexander Light stays low. We got a little bit of an interesting shakeup here with the Limitless drivers being mixed up.
Not going to be working as one. Instead, Gregory Shaw saw an opening, and he's going to press for it to go up front. The 51, one of the more aggressive drivers from their practice race yesterday. He wants this lead badly, and behind that 51 machine is Alex Coffey, winner from last week after a massive shunt given to that of Gavin Rogers and giving the 7 the win at Bristol. And now for the 7, decide to start on pit road. Now helping push the driver to take the lead is the 7 to that of going to be Gregory Shaw.
Gregory Shaw with the big launch out of turn number 4. Here they're now going to see one final lap here in stage number 1. Can Shaw hold on to this position? He's got the 7 pushing him very strongly down this front straightaway, but if he's not careful as he jumps down to the bottom, he was going to quickly possibly get a little bit of contact between them two in the corners as he was all over the back bumper.
Oh,
but now the wrecking.
They're going to be slipping and sliding and wrecking on the exit of turn 2. And like that, the caution flag will wave. That will be our stage break here at that of Daytona. And Zach, you kind of could tell it was bubbling up that this incident was about to strike, and it does in a quick stint.
All it takes is those drivers just to start pushing that little bit much harder, and it can really end up causing major wrecks. As it seems like through the corners, these cars are already very unstable, so anytime you get any little contact to the back of that rear bumper that I believe the 20 gave to the 7 here that really caused this incident, it's so hard to hang on to that race car, and Alex Coffey just could not do it. So tough breaks here, but that will be the stage ender, and Gregory Shaw going to end up winning that stage. So great job on him here as we get to see how this replay and how this incident worked out.
It's going to be seen just bad contact, gets down into the 7, he drops into the 6, and from there it's on. Going to be seeing the 47, the 40, big contacts for the both of them, as that will be causing required damage for that Ryan Thomas as well as Johnny Shade. And the rest of the people just trying their best not to get collected even more, as that of Manis as well as Alexander Light, drivers that thought they were going to be all right up front for some good stage points, going to be falling so deep on losing so much ground. As at the timing of the yellow, it's going to be Gregory Shaw taking the stage win for the 51. Steven Stimpian going to be getting 2nd. Alex Coffey 3rd. That of Nicholas Renner is going to be getting 4th. 5th goes to Nigel Christensen. Ryan Thomas takes 6th. 7th goes to Cody Reed. Chad Bean going to get 8th. 9th goes to that of Brad Delph. And that of Carl Pooler going to take your top 10 here tonight. As we're going to be taking our first commercial break here at the stage break, we will come back with some more action for stage number 2. It's going to be less laps, just as chaotic, and we can't wait to give you the rest of the coverage. You won't miss a thing as we come back to give you more coverage of the Wicked Racing League here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We'll see you on the other side. stage 1 is done. Let's get ready for stage 2 of the Military and Veteran Gamers 200 for the Wicked Racing League race number 6. Green flag is out as you're getting the coverage here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Zach Hall, as it's going to be that of Gregory Shaw, our stage 1 winner. Steven Stympian on the outside, down into turn number 1.
Great restart there from the outside lane. Seems like the outside lane gets momentum rolling very, very quickly, as Cody Reed wasn't able to get the 51 going like he wanted, but Ryan M. Thomas, who's back up in position after that incident earlier in this first stage, he's now up there, and he looked to make the move on Steven Stympian, but the 81 did a great job of covering that off and not being very slow with the move.
I mean, other drivers also that have already used their fast repairs, same as the 40, the 3 of TJ Roberts leading the outside lane for the 3 as well. Watching in that third car on the inside, Chad Bean, the 9 machine, led the most laps here at Daytona last season. He wants to be leading the charge if possible, as the 9's going to be just settling in as Ryan M. Thomas pushing and shoving Steven Stympian, the 81. I think at this point, he's aiming to have the most laps led, but did not win stage 1. He's going to be aiming for stage 2 here.
Did not end up leading those winning that stage, but definitely, like you said, led the most laps of that first stage. So that's a great sign for him if he can look to find some friends here late in this race, because that was the problem. They seem to have ganged up on him there coming to the end of that stage, which that's what plate racing is all about. It's all about working with your teammates, all about finding people that you work well with. And that's really what played out there was, you know, the limitless drivers split up and tried to make 2 different lanes work. And Greg Shaw, he did the best of anybody to get himself to that lead as that incident happened coming off of turn 2. But right now we have the CNC Esports group up top of the duo of the 3 of TJ Roberts and the 7 of Alex Coffey. They're surging forward.
3 of TJ Roberts going to be rolling with the VJ at VGT Consulting Machine. Big shout out to VJT Consulting as one of the primary sponsors here at the Wicked Racing League, as you're seeing on board with that of Alex Coffey, getting to see the student driver machine getting pushed to the lead, and there goes the 3. He might have had to use the fast repair, being one of the first drivers to have to do so, but he's hoping to lead this lap, get that bonus point. A driver that won this race last season, hoping for the same magic to strike once again, as we've got 15 laps to go before this stage is done. Make it 14 now as a lap goes to the 3 machine.
Great job by the CNC Esports team there to get that lap led for the 3 machine. But it is a lot of risk. You got the 40 and the 3 who have used those fast repairs right up in the mix. And if one more incident happens again that they get required damage, they're going to be out of this race and not have a shot at it. So it's risky business to be playing what they're doing. But I like it sometimes. You just got to go with the flow and take the race as they come. And that's what this 3 and this 40 have done so far, as we ride on board with the 55 of Michael here in this 8th position on the outside line. Looks like the outside's starting to deform a little bit here coming off of 4.
A little bit of a scare there. You even got to see one riding on board 55. The 51 of Gregory Shaw got loose out of the corner. Had to actually go onto the apron. And you're also seeing it even out of the tri-oval. Drivers trying to find a steadiness with their wheel, as a Minty going to be a driver that looks strong on the outside lane, just trying to hold his line and look comfortable. We also got some reports with our commercial break that was going on. Richard Wolsifer was having some terrible internet connection issues. He got bounced out of the server, got back in the server, got bounced out again. He's back out on track. 1 lap down is the 56, as he also has already used a fast repair. Johnny Shade, who had to use a fast repair on that last caution, he had to take a tow and currently is 2 laps down as the drivers coming across the line. 12 more laps to go. Stage break at the end of lap 40. Only the top 10 drivers get those bonus points, and this is pack number 2 that's on track.
Pack number 2, like you said there, Sam, they've seemed to have had this same strategy the whole time. It's led by Gavin Rogers, Adam Buzzio, Stephen Borbell, Dallas Menace, Christian DeRoches in that first 5 cars in line, and they've all elected kind of just to ride it out here. They don't want to get involved in anything. They know when it comes down to crunch time later in this race, they want to have that backup of having that fast repair in their back pocket. So I like this call from this group, because I tell you, when it gets to that last stage and we have that last 40 lap shootout, it's going to get very, very much more wild. It's not going to be one of those just give and take races where they drop back like this. You're going to want to have something to fall back onto.
as our leaders having some interesting moments through the trioval, trying to get by the lap car of Richard Wolsifer, who's going to be now officially 2 laps down as he's been caught by this lead pack. It really shuffled and dispersed that inside lane that Steven Stipien was leading, allowing that of TJ Roberts to continue on his warpath on the outside to try to pull away the best that he can. And as that inside lane is falling back, it's allowing some effort of the drivers on the inside to at least try to fall in line, learn some places where they can try to gain some speed. As we're riding on board, being a good shot of that of Ryan Thomas off the back bumper of Steven Stipien. Ryan Thomas is going to be just lingering here, but some aggressive bumping going on here, Zach. Is that something that we're going to be expecting to see a lot of coming to the rest of this race?
I think it's going to get only much more aggressive. I mean, you see the 48, he was down, or the 40, sorry, was giving him those good bumps to help push the 81 forward. The big thing is right here through the corner. We've seen already the 7 get turned by the 20 early in this race during coming to that stage break. But on this straightaway, you got to try to hit as straight on as possible. See how he's off to the right now, a little bit to the center. It's just those back and forth movements on the bumper that can be dangerous. And then right here through the corner, this is where the car is the most unstable. So you got to try to get off that bumper and not apply too much pressure. But you got to be close enough to when you come off the exit to give him the bump and see just a little off center. That almost sent the 81 around.
I mean, also, with iRacing, just giving a little bit of experience with these cars, even if you're squared up and you give a bump at the exit of these corners, especially with the fact that they have been, like drivers have noted on, even when we were talking to that of, Manis, on the fact that 10 laps into a run, the looseness sensation, a clean bump, that is even dangerous to give somebody.
It really is. It's one of those things that's very jarring. It can almost feel like it knocks the steering wheel out your hand when you get a certain hit. So you have to be very, very meticulous about how you do those bump drafting maneuvers. You can't just slam draft. You cannot go into somebody upwards of 3 to 4 mile an hour faster. You got to roll into that bumper gently, and then once you connect, you got to try to stay locked to that bumper, and that's the best way to do it. As soon as you get locked and connected, it is usually pretty clean from there. But if you just slam into them, you can easily send that car off to the left or very dangerously off to the right. That could cause a major one. Is right now the outside line looks like it's starting to not form the greatest. It's going to be the 7 of Coffee up the racetrack. He's going to be 3 wide going to the back.
A little bit loose out of the corner, and it's going to dissipate that whole entire outside lane's momentum. Steven Stipien, Ryan Thomas, they kept themselves being diligent and trying to move forward. Well, now is an opportunity, looking at how the way the outside lane kind of fell apart, it's limitless. If Gregory Shaw can get to the back bumper of the lap down machine of, it's going to be that of 56 of Richard Wolsifer, they could try to make a push to that outside lane and try to be the leaders there, but just were not able to get that momentum. Instead, it's Blaine Wilson trying to give a bump to the 3 machine.
You got to feel for the 56 of Richard. He has just been in a tough position each one of these Daytona races we've seen him here this past few weeks. So it's just not worked out for him the greatest. And, our pole setter, Alexander Light, he's going to lap down. So we'll see if that MVG car for Limitless can get down there and try to help out his teammates. But I think he might be in trouble here of losing the strap pack.
He's just too slow, was not able to side draft, and also brushes the wall. It's going to be the 6 machine, and Alexander Light now going to be going a lap down. This is not what they wanted to see. Now diving it down low, it's Gregory Shaw heading to pit road.
Yeah, that comes to the factor of he missed his pit box when they came down for that stage and never came in to get service after that. I was a little bit head-scratching maneuver from me, from him not to come back down after missing the stall. I understood, sometimes you can easily miss that stall with how we've already seen how tough it is to see up ahead of you, and he just kind of probably, blinked out for a second, just missed his box. But not to come back down that next time by, that was an interesting predicament from him, I think. So that's just going to put him now on pit road, and he's possibly going to go a lap down. So it's just going to be a bunch of 3 limitless cars fighting for getting back on the lead lap.
Last one that's on the lead lap, and in this lead pack, it's going to be Carl Pooler in the 71. which Carl Buehler has been running so well for this season. He's had a couple of, caught up in wrecks moments throughout this year, but like I said, Carl Buehler looking for a decent run here tonight just to survive, and that might be the key factor of tonight. Just survive, and you can find yourself in a good position to get some good points at the end of the day as 5 laps to go before stage 2 is done. Again, that is at the end of lap 40 when our stage break yellow will be thrown. Top 10 get bonus points, and Steven Stympian, Ryan Thomas, looking like the best dynamic duo you could ask for up front.
That they really are. It's cool to see that. It's, not two teammates working together, kind of finding their own groove there. They got Chad Bean in the 9, who's done a great job of that third car in line to help out with the energy there. They got TJ Robertson leading the top line with Blaine Wilson. They got the lappers that are going by here on the outside.
Almost some contact with going to be Dakota Camper. Camper's going to just send it into the outside wall to keep himself away, but there was almost contact between the 43 and the 3, and that could have been disastrous and would have been, if a caution came out, our stage break. So drivers, understandably, going to be seeing that aggression building up. Got to get as far ahead as you can, because you never know when the yellow might strike.
We've seen tonight it picks up when you get to that paying window of points. Drivers are willing to make bigger moves and take bigger risks. As right now, Ryan Thomas, he gets turned off the nose of the 9 machine. It was just stacking up there coming off a 4, and now the 40 going to try to hold on to it. He's going to be in the grass, and he's going to have to get himself back up to speed here. Hopefully, for his sake, he should stay on the lead lap with how far he'll fall back here. But right now, the outside line is going to take a predominant hold of this lead here as the 3 of Roberts, the 18 of Wilson, and the 7 of Coffee all lead down the back straightaway. That inside line has exploded.
A big thing for Ryan Thomas, he had already used his fast repair and luckily stayed off the wall. The tires, they might be burnt off, they might have to be thrown away, but at least the construction of the car still there once the stage yellow comes out, hoping to stay on the lead lap, and should, as the rest of the field, you're seeing them swaying off the exit of the corner. That loose sensation is there. Here comes Cody Reed, Steven Stympian trying to make a charge on the inside, and it's going to be that scene, that of Blaine Wilson, also Alex Coffey, TJ Roberts. Can they hold strong on the outside?
The racing is picking up, folks. Get ready, because we might see an incident start to happen. You also got Gregory Shaw in the 51 right up ahead. He's going to be looking to go a lap down here as he holds the top side. Here comes down the 3 machine and the 18 of Wilson. They're going to cover off that inside lane, but now drop back up top as now Alex Coffey is going to lead the inside lane with the help of Steven Stympian. We'll see, can they get a charge going forward here, coming to the white for this stage.
They are trying to build up the momentum, find the energy on where you can go. Chad Bean trying to figure out how to stay stable, but he has been wiggling a lot on that third car on the outside. That could be killing the momentum as we are now officially on the white flag of stage number 2. The drivers that are inside of the top 10 get them bonus points, and right now it's Carl Buehler who's on the outside, who is leading in that 10th place on trying to get that final bonus point, while TJ Roberts hoping that it's the outside lane that will have the momentum as Chad Bean drops down, now hoping for a push from that of Alex Coffey.
Big moment for Alex Coffey coming off of turn 2. He almost got loose and lost that machine. That caused the inside lane not to go forward like they wanted, but through 3 and 4, TJ Roberts with the help of the 18 of Wilson. Will Wilson try to make something happen here coming off of 4? He's going to have an opportunity, but it's going to be the 9 machine who's trying to keep it sane as though the 18 slides.
He's going to get loose. Going to be a block by the 3, trying to hold off the inside momentum, and it's going to be TJ Roberts holding on and going to take the stage break here for stage number 2, and somehow we didn't wreck coming to the line there.
You're exactly right, Sam. Somehow, some way, these drivers made it to the end there as the VJT Consulting car wins stage number 2. And after using a fast repair, that's got to feel good for TJ Roberts, knowing, hey, I got wrecked out of that first stage. At the second stage, I came back, got the victory, got the 10 bonus points, and he's going to feel pretty confident, I feel like, going into the rest of this race with how well he controlled that into that last final lap there in the stage.
And we'll do an interview with the 3 once they're done with their pit stops. But I mean, Zach, talking about the 3 machine and the fact that he's already used his fast repair and still running as aggressive as if he had that safety net still there. I mean, gotta say, the confidence level, this 3 knows he can be up front and challenging for every position.
And he really does, Sam. He's shown before with victories at super speedways that he is prone to getting up front and very good at holding on to that position. Also, as Chad Bean in the 9, he was able to bring that second position to the stage. Alex Coffey third, Blaine Wilson fourth, Steven Stippian fifth, Brad Delph sixth, Cody Reed seventh, eighth was going to be Michael Giamatti, ninth is Mason Hossman, and Cole Poole rounding out that top 10 of the stage. Very good order there for that group, as they all were pretty happy probably to just survive that stage break, because we seen in the first one, it all went to shambles coming off of turn 2. That time we keep it straight.
And as well, going to be getting the lucky dog at the time of this yellow should be the 51 machine of Gregory Schall, who again had to make the pit stop. Unofficially wanted to come in, but had to because he missed his pit stall at that stage 1. Let's see if anyone makes a similar mistake as the field gets ready to make that hard left-hander to pit road. We saw a couple of drivers make their mistakes on getting into their pit boxes. And Zach, here comes another challenge of getting into their box again.
That it is, Sam. This can be very, very tough. These Daytona pit boxes, especially with the pit road speed, you're going 60 miles an hour. Think about that, folks. That's what you drive on the highway daily, and you got to come to a complete stop and make sure you don't slide through those boxes, as TJ Roberts did an excellent job of it there, as they're going to jack up that right side, get the right side tires on it, put fuel in that race car. Now go to the left side, put the left side tires on, and that's a nice clean pit stop there to try to win the race off of pit road. And behind him, there was contact. The 18 of Blaine Wilson taken out by a car coming in late there into his pit box.
Blaine Wilson aggressively hit, and he's got required damage after that contact. He was hoping to keep himself clean out of any trouble, and it was going to be the 51 of Gregory Schall taking him out.
Yeah, I'm if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was the 6 of Alexander Lipe. And what kind of is interesting there is he's a lap down, so that means he should have been coming down pit road most likely the next lap. But tough break there for Blaine Wilson, man. That is required damage, like you said.
Just wiping out a driver coming across, and that was such a bizarre moment to see that 6 come in the time that he did. Obviously didn't feel like he had the fuel to make it to the end, and bizarre timing. Thought it was the 51. I saw the number. Again, all the Limitless drivers running identical cars except for their number changes, so that was a missed call on my part. But Blaine Wilson forced to use his fast repair. And also, I mean, Zach, he is trying his best not to have to deal with the damage, but he's going to have to drive all the way around, come back into pit road, in a frustrating time for a driver that was keeping himself out of trouble, and after getting hit by a lap car, now going to be having to use his fast repair.
Tough scenes here at Daytona's. Yeah, he's going to have to come back down this time. Luckily, he's able to get back around here, but the fast repair is going to be burned. And when you're on pit road, you never want to use that fast repair there because you think that's the most safe place.
As a very scary situation we saw there on pit road. I mean, you never expect to see that, but let's talk to the 3 machine who's been looking fast and get his thoughts on the chaos that we're getting ourselves prepared for. TJ Roberts, stage 2 winner, you there?
I am.
Well, you win stage 2. You're racing like you have a fast repair to work with.
Right.
What is going on right there? Because this 3 machine looks fast.
It's a little bit chaotic, not gonna lie. Got some good pushing from behind from the teammates, and honestly, just trying to hang loose until the final laps because you know it's gonna be pretty busy.
That it is, TJ, man. Congrats on the stage win there, but how tough is to hold on to these things? We've seen guys pretty much swapping ends coming off the exit of these corners late in the runs.
You know what? I mean, the ass end of the cart really is trying to jump out off of 2. And I guess when you've got someone underneath you, it really wants to get away, so they do get crossed up a little bit. So that's why you're seeing some probably heavy checking up.
It certainly is looking chaotic, and we hope that it stays green and you're able to finish it to the end. Hopefully we'll be talking to you later on, TJ, and good luck.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
So we send the 3 back to his team from CNC Esports. I mean, Zach, a team that's looking strong for themselves here tonight. As we're done with stage racing, it is all about the win from here to the end. We have already seen some drama billowing up, and it's going to be the 3 and the 7, your front row, as we get ourselves ready for the final push for the Military Veteran Gamers 200. We're green. TJ Roberts already going to be taking off and it's Alex Coffey moving high as drivers, alliances, getting in line with one another.
DJ Roberts wants to get involved with that 7 machine. We've seen how well they work together, but I tell you, the 25 and the 81, those two now stuck together, and those two should be working together here also. So Steven Stippy and Cody Reed, can they make the inside work? Right now, it looks like the inside is fired up more. They have more energy down there, more drivers lined up, and it seems like the push is coming forward.
Bush is coming forward, and as well going to be seeing a little bit of aggression from the 9 and the 71, as well as you could call Mr. Aggression for the first 5 races of the season. Mason Hausman finally getting the 78 into the fray in the top 10.
Mason Hausman, yeah, definitely breaking his way in there. Just kind of got into the mix finally at the end of that stage. We'll see how the 78 plays out. He's got a fast repair to play with. We've got a lot of drivers up front with a fast repair to play with. That's why the 3 of Roberts, he's got to feel a little bit concerned. He did get that stage win. That makes you feel good. So, you know, you have 10 bonus points to back you up if something was to go wrong in this end of this race. But it's all about winning the race. That's what all these drivers want to do. And if you don't have that fast repair, the concerns and nerves have to be very high here as the tension builds up with everybody trying to jump down low. It looks like that outside is just deteriorating.
Chad Bean bounced up to the outside lane, and no one wanted to work with him, it seemed like, as they all dropped to the inside lane. And this also could be a strategy call, as some drivers are a part of our second pack for stage 1 and stage 2. They are now starting to get back up front in the top 15 and making some big moves for themselves. But honestly, all the drivers have been putting on a great show. Let's take a look at how the drivers are reacting here tonight. You got our wall of drivers. You got Steven Stippian, Adam Buzzio, Alex Coffey, and others. I mean, that of Carl Pooler out there, all trying to get themselves into positions to race. And Zach, our wall of drivers, you can see the focus is all being shown right now.
That it is, Sam. A lot of focus there being shown. You got Nigel Christensen up in that top left corner. You also got Johnny Shade there beside him. So those two also showing the major attention to focus here, because we've already seen how fast these cars can step out on you. If you don't stay focused, it quickly can happen. And right now, we have our biggest pack of the night formed up. 21 cars in this front lead pack. It's been a majority of the drivers back there who've been dropping back. They're getting their first taste of what this draft is like.
I mean, it's 21 lead drivers, but there are also a couple lap cars getting in the mix here as drivers up front, single filing out and looking comfortable and confident. It's the back half of this lead pack that has been looking almost scrambling to make sure they all can get in line in a solid formation, as they almost were wrecking out of turn number 4. It seems like the exit of the corners have been difficult to find. As we look here at that of Jimmy Kubanek, a driver for the 8, he's hoping for some solid runs, and as well a huge push from Gregory Shull. Was not expecting the check up there as he was closing in on that camper in front of him.
Things happen so fast here at Daytona and Talladega. These super speedways, again, the vision is not always the greatest what you see forward, so you're just stuck to the back bumper of somebody, and then the checkup happens. You got to react lightning fast, because it will strike like lightning and quickly take you out of a race. So drivers doing a good job there to make it through that. But this back half here, looks like they were very aggressive before, but a lot of them forming on that bottom lane. My question that I'm starting to ask myself here, Sam, is these drivers have 80% fuel loads, folks. So what that means, they don't have the full 20-gallon tanks here that these next-gen Cup cars use. They are 16 gallons of fuel that they can place inside this fuel cell. And with that, you can go around 34 to 35 laps with a straight-up run. We have a 40-lap stage in front of us. Now, part of this stage was under caution, so some of these drivers, I think they can save the fuel to possibly make it to the end of this race. That could be the play for a win of a strategy. We've seen it at Talladega. The drivers who stretched the fuel there at the end of the stage, they were the ones that came out the winners.
Yeah, I mean, you look back to that first race, you had about 6 drivers that were all in a position to try to win at Talladega, and they barely had enough fuel to make it across the line. Here tonight could be a similar thing to watch out for. Who comes into pit road in a confident manner that this race is going to be a pit stop to the end, and other drivers that stay in the thick of things, trying to make sure that they're half throttle, core throttle at moments on the track. They don't want to be full sending it at every single possibility. Who's saving the fuel to go for a chance to win here tonight based off a strategy? It's going to be something to watch out for, but you know for sure the drivers that are up front, Steven Stippy and Cody Reed, as well as drivers that are leading the outside lane. That was Chad Bean and also others back there deeper in the field. when you're leading a lane, you are not saving fuel. Those could be the drivers that we saw. I mean, Steven Stippian, we look back to that first race, Zach, that 81 was a part of the group that was dominating stage 1 and stage 2 at Talladega, but finished out losing ground because they had come to pit road and they were so fast.
It's so true, Sam. You got to be able to picture what's going to come down to the end of this race. And if you don't picture saving the fuel here, then you could quickly be in that same position that a lot of drivers were at Talladega that ran up front, led laps, and then all of a sudden they were bit by that fuel mileage just not being the same as what you can produce back here. I mean, if you're on this bottom lane farther back, you're really able to lift a good portion here, and that's why you just want to stay in the draft as much as you possibly can. Hopefully someone's behind you to keep you there, but drivers like TJ Roberts, drivers like Steven Stippian who are leading their lines, this is most likely not going to play out well for them. They're going to need some type of caution, something to bring this race under yellow to help them get to the end of this race. So we'll see, does that factor come into fruition? But with so many drivers saving fuel, we could see less moves being made. But right now, it seems like the outside line, they're not giving up. They've got a good head of steam, and they're quickly taking positions from that bottom lane.
Stage 2 winner, excuse me, going to be leading that outside lane of TJ Roberts, trying to close in on the lead pack, and he's got that of Alex Coffey giving the shove, giving the bump. These two drivers made it work during stage 2, and they're going to be trying to make it work here as well in the final stage of this race. We can see there the exit of the corner, the unstability these drivers have. They are trying to hold on, and as well closing in on lap traffic. We'll see how lap traffic is going to influence these leaders, as it looked like it wasn't a clear understanding on where the lap car was going to go straight up to the outside wall. And the field has to close in on where the lap car was.
Ooh, and deep breaths farther back because they were 3 wide for a moment. I had to split that lap car. Giovanni Perez, Diemco, he's going to go 3 laps down now, but luckily every single driver makes it by as they got a few more stragglers to try to get themselves also by the 11 machine. But big moment there. That could have been a huge incident there for this pack. But you can see right here on board Coffee, they're going to duck out. They did a little side draft, now duck out wide, try to get that big run. But outside line has kind of deformed a little bit. 4 cars lined up, the 3, the 7, the 20, and the 18.
Trying to work with one another the best that they can. Also a little bit of too much side drafting, it looked like. Might have hurt the outside lane and kind of stalled them out, and was starting to break away from this lead pack as drivers starting to try to settle in to tonight's race. When do you come into pit road? If you're going to come into pit road, is into the grass. Going to be drivers hard contact back into the field, and yellow strikes for caution number 4 on lap 55.
Gregory Shaw in the 51 right in the middle of that there, folks. And I think that was between 3 limitless cars. I think maybe Renner in the number 19 machine got the first bit of contact from the 51, just an off-center bump. And then from there, even the 56, Richard Wolsifer, he was involved in it. Also, that was a tough scene to have, and that is 2 limitless cars and also Brad Delph having required damage here. And tough scenes here from Daytona. And this is the caution that a lot of these guys wanted to see when it came to fuel mileage, though.
This isn't the wreck, though, that Richard Wolsifer wanted. He had already used his fast repair. Will have to be forced into pit road. But with the way that I was seeing the 56 rolling after the incident, he should be in pit road for just a minimal amount of time to see the check up the hard contact. And just Gregory Shaw as well as Richard Wolsifer, hard front-end damage contacts that got them into some major issues.
Major issues for sure, and that's tough for the military and veteran gamers cars as they were looking good out there tonight. Had some woes on pit road, lost some laps, but now it's going to be setting them back even farther as I think Alexander Light, I believe, maybe getting the lucky dog from it. So the beneficiary of Limitless was the 6 machine, but his teammates took the brunt of the rest of it here as we go under caution for the 4th time tonight, 3rd time for an incident, and what a wild race we're about to get down to, because the farther along this gets, the better the fuel mileage gets for each and every one of these drivers. So they have to make, really much more aggressive moves when it comes down to the end of this thing.
Well, I mean, with the timing of this yellow, drivers should be good on fuel, and even if we go into overtime, they should still be fine on making it to the end, as you see everyone pulling into pit road for themselves. And it's going to be the 6 machine getting that lucky dog spot, or at least trying to take the wave around here as drivers are setting up and getting prepared to race this one out. And I believe, Zach, this race certainly not over yet, especially on the fact that with less laps to be ran for the rest of this thing, it's only going to intensify how these drivers run, as fuel only for Carl Pooler.
Fuel only for a bunch of drivers there, and that's, you know, interesting signs, because we have heard drivers about 10 laps into a run say, you know, that's where the handling issues start to come to be a bigger factor. So maybe taking those 4 tires might be the right call to be made. As Steven Stapien led him down the pit road, he elects to take the 4 tires, but the rest of the drivers just taking fuel only. That came out in front of him. The wild scenes, and we're going to get to see some wild racing for sure. Is you got Johnny Shade in the 25. He's up or in 25th position. He's going to be looking to take a wave around, and also Dakota Camper, I believe, also.
And, you know, we might be wondering, why aren't drivers taking those tires there? Well, they were given 4 extra sets of tires to work with in pit road. And for some drivers, if they have taken tires on that pit stop, could have been their last set. They want to make sure that they've got something to work with if there is a quick caution that comes around here very shortly, as the field is coming to an end. Fuel-wise, drivers should be good to make it to the end, but it certainly is going to be close if we go into overtime. But if you're watching out there in the chat, voice out. Who are you rooting for? Who do you think's going to win here tonight? Because, Zach, I don't think for me in the booth, there is a solid one person I could just pick out and say they're winning this race for sure.
Oh, Daytona, man, it's always like that. I feel like, especially when you got the unknown of what could happen here coming down to the end of this race. It could be any man's race out there. Any single driver can go out there and get this victory done. It's just going to be the question of who plays your cards right. Sometimes when you're out there, you know, you make a wrong decision. That decision could be the difference between finishing first or finishing outside even the top 10. So you got to make those quick decisions while you're out there on the racetrack, and that's how you make things happen here at Daytona.
First driver with the early exit going to be the 56 of Richard Wolsifer, who again caught up in that wreck, had already used a fast repair. Too much damage, Zach. You hate to see it from the 56, who has just been on a bad luck spree, it seems like, for himself. As people that are rooting for drivers, some are rooting for that 81, some rooting for the 25 of Cody Reed. We've also got the number 3 fans out there in the crowd. Again, if you're rooting for somebody, put it in the chat. Let's see who you think's going to win this race, as we're getting ourselves ready for action. But I mean, Zach, this field, we've got that of 24 on the lead lap, but Dakota Camper did not come into pit road, so he will have to come into pit road if there isn't a caution for the rest of this race.
Tough scenes there for him. We'll see how that works out for Camper there in the 43 machine. I think it's a good decision to take that wave, because you gotta risk it, in my opinion, especially here, because you know the possibility of an incident happening are very, very likely here at Daytona. If a caution does come out before he has to come to pit road, he has won that deal overall.
Also got some MVG fans out there. Those drivers running that scheme is the Limitless crew. As the drivers hit pit, we're going to see that of the pace car pit road. Drivers into the restart zone. We're back to green flag racing here tonight. Carl Pooler, Mason Hausman leading the charge as they go down into that at turn number 1.
Aggressive move from Hausman there to get down to that bottom line. The 78 is he's going to try to push Carl Pooler, but look, the outside line, they got some good energy built up. The 40 all over the back bumper of the 3. The 40 has the 7 on his back bumper. Down the back straightaway, that outside line just pulling ahead here, as they're going to get 3, maybe even 4 cars clear the inside.
Going to be a huge push as the top 3 drivers on that top lane, all with aggressive shoving. And the top 2 drivers here, Zach, gonna have no fast repairs. They are sending it to the end of this race. We've got that of a total of 3 drivers in our top 5 that don't have a fast repair in this run anymore. They just want to have the track position, stay out of trouble, and hope that they're at the end of this race with 21 laps to go.
This field is full send at the moment here, folks. It's like you said, coming to that 20 to go next time by. Let's see who's going to be able to win here tonight for the Military and Veteran Gamers 200 here at Daytona. every driver here on this lead lap position has a chance still. We got 24 of those here still available to go out there and get the victory done. But where will it happen? Right now, that top line looking strong, but can Carl Pooler get the push from the 78 of Mason Halston to get himself farther forward?
And do you want to be further forward? Big thing to watch out for. Again, about half the drivers that are in our top, that of 10, are on that of old tires. They did not take a set on that last caution, so they are on old tires that are already worn down, and with each lap that passes, the more aggressive these tires are going to get looser and looser on the exit of the corner if they're not paying attention. And that means we could be seeing a big one. Getting prepared, because Zach, that's something we haven't talked about. It's not an if, it's a when is it going to happen moment when you come to these super speedways.
You're exactly right, Sam. It feels like it's inevitable at some point for these drivers not to be involved with a huge incident that we always like to call the big one. As we get to see here that 81 of Steven Stipping led a lot of laps here in the first two stages, has gotten trapped back here on this bottom line in the 12th position at the moment, as he's going to have to try to find his way forward here after taking those 4 tires.
Hey, this 81's been a good driver in front of him. That's Adam Buzzio, who has just continued to find good finish after good finish and is always there at the end of these races for this season. And once again, the 5 just outside of that of the top 10. He's flirting in and out here as he's being side by side with that of Chad Bean, now dropping even further back. But for the drivers that are in the inside lane, it's what I like to call the exit plan. If you're running on the inside, that means you get dropped to the apron if you see carnage in front of you. But the outside lane is where they are moving at this current moment.
Also, you got to equate the fact that usually things that happen down low or happen up high always go back up high here at Daytona. So when you have, like you said, that exit plan on the bottom, you got to feel a lot more comfortable. But it seems like that outside line has been very strong as we got drivers jumping up in that position. Adam Buzzio in the 5, he likes to go up to the top side here and jump out of that bottom lane. As right now, the top has just been so dominant here to start this run off. But can the inside fire back off and get itself further forward?
Inside lane had a little bit of help as that outside lane started to dissipate with drivers that were from 6th on back in that that top lane. They all dropped down. Hasn't worked out though. The top 5 are just looking way too strong. Those are the drivers of TJ Roberts, Alex Coffey, Nigel Christensen, Blaine Wilson, Nicholas Renner. They are way too strong up there, and this inside lane just cannot pass the top 6.
That they cannot, man. Let's see how this plays out. Jimmy Kubanek there leading that inside lane. Can he get a side draft? That's what they're going to have to possibly start thinking about. They want to gain that ground on the drivers up ahead of them. They got to make a side draft. But there comes a big move from the 51 of Gregory Shaw. He jumps to the inside lane. That gives the inside even more strength down low. Now let's see if they can make the move here. As the bump from the 8 comes down the back straightaway. The inside lane is starting to perch itself forward.
And thought we would maybe see the 19 Nicholas Renner drop down to work with that of Gregory Shaw. It won't. They're going to check up on the outside lane. Just not a good entry. They all accordion back at losing momentum. It's our stage 1 winner of Gregory Shaw making the inside lane work, and the assistance by the 8th that we're right on board with is the main reason why.
That is, Sam. This is definitely the main reason right here. They're going to be coming up on lap traffic here, folks. We'll see how they navigate around the 11 machine, who's in the middle of the racetrack at the moment. Looks like he's going to take it up high against the wall. But that top lane's right there also. What does he do down the back straightaway? Everything puts a little bit more of a clinch on it as the 11 pretty far off the wall. And it gets close between them all coming by here on the Daytona backstretch.
It gets very close. I'd feel at this moment lap cars should just drop to the apron and just stay there if you see a car coming up to you, because staying close to that outside wall, you can easily touch the wall or force other drivers to make mistakes that they wouldn't have made if you weren't there. But everyone survives, and they get another chance. 15 laps to go here at Daytona for the Military and Veteran Gamers 200. Race number 6. Can we find a different winner? So far this season, we've had 5 races, 5 different winners. Could we find 6 races with 6 different winners? And TJ Roberts hoping to win Daytona 2 seasons in a row.
That he is, Sam. He has such a good stranglehold right now on the field with his teammate Alex Coffey up there with him. We'll see if they can continue that trend they've had here after stage 1 getting that victory. We could see them do the same thing, but Will Alex Coffey look to go for back-to-back victories after his win at Bristol last week? He's got the opportunity, but now the inside lane is starting to form a little bit better, led by the 55. He's starting to march his way up with the help of the 51 of Gregory Shaw, but still we're seeing slight movements farther back in that pack, 3 wide moments, and it's getting dicey here the farther we get closer to the end of this race.
That 55 of Michael G. Amenti going to be trying to make this inside lane work, and he's got the 51. Gregory Shaw has been glued to the back bumper, and with the 51, he's going to have the teammate of Nicholas Renner right on the back bumper. You got team assistance, and it is moving. The 55 might have some scrub marks, but he is making the charge. Now going to be side by side with second place of Alex Coffey. There's just one more driver to get by, and will we see that of Roberts trying to make a block? No, bad bump by the 7, and it sends Roberts into out of the apron. He stays off the wall, but into the grass. We stay green.
Staying green here, folks, and he's still in the grass. Similar scenes to what we've seen him use his fast repair earlier in the races. Woo! Close action coming out of the tri-oval as that group of 4 goes by. TJ Roberts, though, going to need some type of yellow to get back in the mix here with 13 laps to go, but it's the 55 being led, and it's all bumps. Up front is the 51, and the 19 of Nicholas Renner and Gregory Shaw look to make something happen. The 55 gets pushed out to the top.
Move him high, deke low, and that's what the 51 does. Coffey doesn't have time to slow down. Huge contact. Renner's flipping, and the big one strikes with 13 to go.
Major moment there, folks. The 19 went flying, and just a wild scene there, as I just don't think that the 20 got this the call there, or the scene that the 55 was going to be checking up that outside line. Looks like the 7 tried his best to check up, but just couldn't get it done. As you can see him still scattering here as the 55 tries to get his way back going. But Sam, pandemonium, and the first big one, we didn't say if, it's when, and it's happened now.
4 drivers require damage. Michael Giaminti, Chad Bean, Steven Stimpy, and Nicholas Renner all going to be forced into pit road. As we look at the replay, watch for the 20. There's the bump, gives it to the 7, and that's about a 10 miles per hour difference bump given to the 55. The rest of the field trying to hold on the best of they can. It's the 19, though, goes airborne. Then the second contact by the 7 is what sends him flipping. And then the rest of the field, there's just nowhere to go. It's a wall of drivers that you're just stuck driving through.
Stuck indeed, Sam. And oh man, here's Steven Stimpy, Nigel Christensen, Blaine Wilson, Cody Reed, and just a hard slam into the outside wall there for Steven Stimpy. And that's what's going to give him required damage, as he most likely broke a right front wheel, and he'll have to get that fast repair used as he spins around down here off the banking, and drivers scattered. Man, it's pandemonium here in Daytona Beach.
As drivers now, as we're getting these last couple of shots of the drivers just trying to get themselves straight after the wreckage. We got about half the field deciding to come into pit road, the other half deciding to stay out on track. And those that are deciding to come into pit road going to be taking tires and fuel for themselves and make sure that they're good for the end, and try to make sure they also have the most amount of grip to take it to the end of this race, because Zach, when we go green, it's going to be less than 10 laps to go. We touched on earlier after stage 2 is over on, hey, fuel mileage could be a key thing to watch out for. Throw that out the window. It is all going to be aggression from here on out.
Aggression. It's going to be the name of the game here, coming down to the checkered flag. And we might get a few mixed in yellows with that due to that aggression. So don't go anywhere, folks. It's going to be a wild run to the end here. Get yourself ready, because this is going to be one of those Daytona classic moments where everything just breaks loose and drivers know they got to start making stuff happen, especially drivers involved in that incident that were fast drivers that feel like, man, I need to go up there and try to get in contention again. They're going to try to make things happen. They might even take it 3 wide, and then that's when every single moment might go wrong. We'll have to definitely stay on top of that. But the driver, I think, who liked that caution probably the most of anybody, and that gives him a chance to get back up in the mix, is TJ Roberts. He went through that grass. He needed a yellow pretty quickly to where he wouldn't go a lap down before the rest of the race ended, and he luckily gets saved by the bell there, by the yellow flag, and now going to be in the 16th position to try to make his move late in this race.
And as well, that of Gavin Rogers trying to get back out on track to put his 25 drivers on that of going to be on the lead lap. Once we go back to green flag racing, Johnny Shade, Zach, he was 2 laps down for majority of this race. The 47 is back on the lead lap, and he's ready to give an opportunity to battle for an opportunity for a top 10, top 15, or even get himself into victory lane.
That he is. Johnny Shade's done it before, and he is known to be a super speedway guy. He's done very well here in the past, and someone like Jimmy Kubanek, you never know, he might be able to pull off a win here. Carl Pooler, Christian DeRoches, just look at the names up here. Stevie T. Cole, Ryan Harrison in the top 10 right now. Even Alexander Light, he's made his way back up after sitting on pole. He might even have a shot at this thing here before it's all over and said and done. So it's going to be anyone's game out here left on this field. And right now we got 25 drivers on the lead lap. Only one driver out there is laps down. That's Giovanni Perez Yamco at 5 laps down. So he is most likely not going to have any contention of this win here tonight or a bettering his position. But we'll see how it shakes out, because right now we got 25 hungry drivers ready to go for a possible first-time victory, and a victory that could get them in the playoffs.
Hungry and ready for a win potentially for themselves. We've had 5 races this season before tonight, 5 different winners. We had that of Stephen Borbell winning at Talladega, Mason Hausman winning at Nashville, Cody Reed winning at Watkins Glen, Gavin Rogers at that of New Hampshire, and then last week it was Alex Coffey. Could tonight be the 6th race and 6th different winner? Well, Jimmy Kubanek hopes that it's going to be him, as he's going to be getting into the restart zone. And we are back to green flag racing. The military and veteran gamers 200 is back underway. Side by side for second place is the 8. A little bit too big of a gap for my liking, but here comes the run through that of 1 and 2.
Big gap, like you said. That's going to be definitely a challenging moment here, as that inside line does catch up finally to him. Carl Pooler had to check up a little bit, but the outside didn't have the biggest momentum. It's Mason Halsman as Kubanek gets a little loose. The outside line starting to move here, as it's going to be that 78 and that the 57 machine making moves here down the back straightaway.
Drivers deeper in the field, you can see him being 3 wide, trying to file into at least side-by-side racing. But up front, they're going to be wrecking. It's going to be Ryan Harrison, scattering, spinning, and the back half of the field not able to slow down as there was nowhere to go.
It all just closed there in the matter of moments, and so many drivers involved in another incident here at Daytona, and required damage flag for Cody Reed in the 25, who took a heavy collision there as he tried to navigate his way through. Just couldn't make it, as the 43 Dakota Camper was shot down into him. But we'll get to see this instant replay. Here's Dallas Manis in the 45 machine. He's going to be in the mix of this here. As you'll see, it kind of breaks loose up in front with the 13 of Ryan Harrison getting turned around. And then it's all every driver just trying to find a simple way to get through. But there is no simple way.
There really isn't. We're going to also get another look at this after this mayhem of the field being clogged up, nowhere to go. Everyone's trying to slow down the best that they can. Johnny Shade probably did the best that he could, slamming on the brakes. But it's Ryan Harrison who gets spun around, and it was just a bad bump of a driver drifting into him, of Gregory Shaw, that started that madness, and nowhere to go for the rest of the field.
That's all it really takes, is one moment. When you're all stacked up like this, things happen so quick, and it's so tough. I mean, if you're one of those drivers that just made it through one of the other incidents, you are trying your best to make it through once again, but things happen. People come down the racetrack, people go up the racetrack, some people don't slow down enough. It's always just such a tough call to make when you're that driver.
As Cody Reed coming into pit road already used the fast repair, and he most likely will be in pit road going a couple laps down to get repairs done. It's Jimmy Kubanek leading the way up front with Carl Pooler, Mason Hausman, and others. As here's another look at it. Going to be seeing the 13. He will run that all the way against the wall line. It's the 51, though. Gregory Shaw just slides up, and away they go.
That they do, Sam, and you can see they kind of just connect there. That sends the 13 back to the wall. The 43 hits off his back bumper. That takes him down the racetrack into the 25 of Reed. And from there, you can see the 81 Steven Stippian. He's trying to make it through, but you have the 43 and the 25 slide back up with the contact from the 18 and the 19 to the back of the 81. That shoves him down, and then just even more drivers piling in here late. Dallas Menace, Gavin Rogers involved, the 11 of Giovanni Perez Diamco involved. And just like that, again, another huge wreck strikes here. And when it's under 10 to go at Daytona, this is a likely scene to have.
And we are going to be closing in on 5 to go when we get back to green flag racing for these drivers, as they are getting themselves into the ends of this race. 6 cautions so far. But this field certainly in a spot where, I got to say, Zach, 6 cautions, one of them being at the stage break for stage 2. That's 5 on-track incidents to bring out yellows. This is a lot better than what we were expecting coming into tonight, mainly because of how unstable this setup was. You got to give a huge shout-out to this field for at least keeping it clean, because there was a lot of worries that this race was going to be over 10 cautions or more than that, and they're keeping it less than 10, even with all the green-white checkers that could be possibly thrown. This is a big plus for a league that was very unsure about this setup.
You're so right about that, Sam. So many drivers came in here worried, concerned, not knowing what would happen at this race here tonight. And yeah, it's been a lot cleaner, a lot better job done by the drivers here than I think they even expected from themselves, because it's not, a lot of this isn't even on the drivers. A lot of this is based on the iRacing fixed setup. It's just very, very tough here at the moment to drive, and they've done the best with what they got. And I'm thoroughly impressed here with tonight's race so far, as it'll be 5 to go when we go back green. I think I'm not saying it's for sure, but we might see that yellow flag at least a couple more times here in this race. We got, the possibility of 3 green white checkers also. They should have plenty of fuel there, no concerns with that, but still it's a lot still left here to happen at Daytona, just because we got coming to 5 to go. It's not over at all.
7 of our top, that of 8 drivers, Zach, coming into this restart are on 30-plus old tires. They are going to be hurting for rubber if they've not been protecting how they've been running. And up front, if they get into a little bit of a green flag run for 2 to 3 laps, get those tires heated up, it could be cause for chaos with some of the big moves we're expecting to see. So watch out up front. Rear in the field, they're going to be pushing for every opportunity, for every position. You can't wait anymore. It is 5 to go to win here tonight. It's race number 6. It's the Military and Veteran Gamers 200. And we're back to green flag racing here for race number 6.
Great start from the bottom lane there. That's what you need if you're Kubanek in the 8 machine. He's got the 78 of Halsman right behind him. Now heading down the 1. The outside lane is a little bit more formed up. Can they get the momentum off of 2? That's going to be the question. Here comes the Roaches to help that bottom lane. Also, Adam Buzzio coming into the picture. The 5 on the bottom with the 9 of Chad Bean. With the top side with the major run down the back straightaway. They're going to pull dead even here before turn 3.
Carl Puller can hold on to this push from Ryan Thomas. Watch out for this outside lane. They are going to have a lot of speed, but it's going to be the closer and a lot more jam-packed inside lane that's going to have the better momentum. Steve Cole just not close enough to help that outside lane get moving. Instead, it's Kubanek as well as Hausman. And DeRoches is contact. They're going to be scattering. We're heading to overtime, it looks like here, Zach, as they're coming across the line. 4 to go, and drivers are scattering at the exit of turn 4.
That they are, Sam, just like that, folks. It all can go up into smoke. I got to feel for Carl Puller there in the 71 machine involved in that incident, and just possibly just the case of a bad push in the exit of these corners. These cars are already a little bit light off the exit of these corners. You get that push in the wrong spot of that bumper coming off the exit, and quickly that 71 went around right in front of the field. Even his teammate Alexander Light involved in it. Nicholas Renner, oh man, I think we'll get to see this here during this replay. He kind of just comes into it late and just takes Carl Puller, pretty much T-bones him. So wild scenes here at Daytona. Some tough breaks there for the Limitless team, who had majority involvement in that there after Carl Puller gets spun around.
As well, we got reports from that of Richard Wolsifer, as it is continuous computer issues freezing that strikes the 56. The issues were showing at our charity event on that of this past Saturday, where he was not able to run that of the Daytona 500, and it strikes once again here Wednesday night. As we look at the replay, again, watch the exit of the corner. It's going to be the front 2 on the outside, the 40 and the 71. Zach, I mean, just one bad bump and there it goes.
Exactly right, Sam. It just happens that quick. And look, here's Adam Buzzio. He gets hit in the 5. And from there, he's trying to hold on to his machine. He gets hit by the 40. Somehow just gets hit by that 71 as it all stacks up. And here's the 7 of coffee. There goes Brad Delft to the inside. You got the 6 Alexander Light into his teammate there of the 71 of Carl Pooler. And then as this breaks down a little bit, this wreck's been happening for a moment. The 19 here, you're going to see him come into picture. And I think he's just trying to make his way through, probably at a little bit too high of a speed, and just clobber the 71.
My goodness.
And that is going to be night for the 71 there as he hits into the 20. I mean, you just see he's launched into the 20.
Well, he's not completely night done. He does have a fast repair to work with, but he just got to pit road now. So, for Carl Pooler, his race isn't completely over, but man, was that a hard hit for himself. But for Renner, it could be night over for himself as he has to come into pit road. And for Nigel Christensen, his night is done for the 20. He already had a fast repair used as he's going to have to come into pit road with required damage. A lot of hard contacts. And no, for Limitless, this was not the night that they were hoping for. They were hoping to see that of the Military Veterans Gamers schemes finish 1, 2, 3, 4. Right now, looks to be maybe just a hand. They're hoping to finish in the top 5, at least one of them. And at this current moment, it might be that of Alexander Light that might be the driver that can do it, as the 6 has been on the swing of trying to find some positive momentum for himself here in the middle stages of the season.
And it's amazing to see that he's still up in the 6th position because he was involved in that incident. He was the, kind of caught up behind it, but I think he did a good enough job to slow down there and just get the car woed up enough to where it didn't get too badly damaged from that incident. So again, it shows these Cup Series cars, Gen 7, next gen cars are just so strong when it comes to some of these hits. It takes certain hits to completely destroy them. And we certainly have seen a few of those, but man, it's definitely shown that you can take a hit and make it right through that thing. But first green-white checkered attempt, we got the possibility of 2 more after this first one. We might need them, but at the same time, things happen fast here at Daytona. We'll see how this works out, folks. It's going to be Kubanek up front. He's got Hossman beside him. DeRoches in 3rd. Ryan Thomas in 4th. Chad Bean in 5th. Steve T. Cole in 6th. Of those top 6, we might see a first-time winner here. And it could be wild to see that there, as Hossman's, I believe, the only one of those 6 up front that have won.
And the way that I'm seeing these guys are running with one another, it could be a thing where Hausman might be thinking, let's get Jimmy Kubanek to victory lane based on how they're running. As you saw when they crossed the line, it went from 2 up to 3. It is overtime. We got 1 attempt of 3. The way the ruling works is when we go green, they've got 2 laps to finish out this race. If a caution flag comes out on that first lap, we will reset it and go into attempt number 2. But if we get the white flag, the gloves are off. It's all about who crosses the line first, and there will not be a yellow flag thrown if we get the white flag. That's the key. If we get the white flag, that's what they're looking for. But we've got that of 3 attempts if needed here tonight. First attempt. Are you ready? Hopefully, because us up in the booth, we've been chattering and waiting for this moment. It's the super speedway finish that you always look for. Here we go. Overtime attempt number 1 for the Military and Veteran Gamers 200. Jimmy Kubanek, Mason Hausman already in line. It's the 40 of Ryan Thomas, hoping for some help on the outer groove.
That top side needs to get moving. They're getting a little bit more numbers up there, but can they get the run they need coming off the turn number 2? The inside stacking up a little bit. The 57 had to back off the 78 as it was going to be a wreck if he didn't. Good job by that, but it's the inside lane that's surging forward here as they got multiple cars. The outside lane is just not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere as they're going to be flying by our camera. The big thing to watch out for, who is going to bounce into the outside lane. It looks like it's go down in the middle. It's that of Chad Bean, who's going to be stuck going backwards. Going to be up front. Jimmy Kubanek as well as Mason Hausman holding strong with that of Christian DeRoches. Out of turn number 4, they're trying to keep it green for now, and it looks like it will. It's going to hold. Welcome to the freaky fast white flag. This was it. Only 1 attempt needed, and here we go. Zach bouncing to the outside. It's the 43.
Dakota Camper jumped it out like you said, but it was all alone. Didn't have no help. Gavin Rogers, he's made his first appearance up here in the 77. Can he get himself back to victory lane? This could be huge. The push from the 78 is very big. It gets him a little loose. The 57 jumps out. They make contact to the 77, and that checks him up down the back straightaway as it's almost 4 wide heading down to 3.
But watch out, by himself, looking for some help. He's going to be the third car in line. It's going to be that of Stephen Borbell, but he's too far back. It's Jimmy Kubinek, Mason Hausman. They're going to have to defend for one more opportunity. The 2 is going to have some momentum to watch out for. They're wrecking at his turn number 4. The 2 bounces high. He goes low, trying to get to the inside lane. Hausman's going to bounce the 2 out of the way. Jimmy Kubinek wins the 200 here tonight.
What a job by Jimmy to hold on to that victory. Great first time win here at Daytona for himself. And Stephen Borbell, the winner from Talladega, tried to pull it off once again at the Super Speedway. He'll come home with second, with Hossman in third, Rogers fourth, and Dakota Camper rounding out the top 5. What a finish there. Right there, it all broke down at the end, but the 8 held on to it in the Coca-Cola machine.
I mean, Jimmy Kubinek comes away with his best ever finish. His first Wicked Racing League win. His best finish before this was the start of the season, a 3rd place finish at Talladega. And now a winner of the Wicked Racing League and continuing the streak. Now 6 races, 6 different winners. The Coca-Cola machine gets to burn it down here tonight.
Celebrations have never been sweeter than here at Daytona International Speedway. It's always a pleasure when you're a driver to go not only get a victory and a first-time one, but also to get a victory at such a historic track as this, as he's going to park it against the wall and show that acceleration there as he burns down those Goodyear tires that help get him here to victory lane. Great job by Jimmy Kubinek in the 8.
He's going to be the second first-time winner of the Wicked Racing League. That of Cuddy Reed was the first back at race number 3 at Watkins Glen. And man, I can't wait to talk to this 8 machine, get his thoughts on how tonight went. As when we come back, it's the post-race show. We get to talk to our top 2 and also a spotlight driver. We get to see how their feelings are after tonight's chaotic run. We'll see you in just a few. Stay with us for the post-race show. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the post-race show here tonight for the Wicked Racing League Wednesday night coverage, as it was the Military and Veterans Gamers 200 at Daytona, and we get a first-time winner here tonight. The 8 Machine, one of the drivers that's been here since the beginning, and he finally can say he's a Wicked Racing League winner. We got the 8 Jimmy Kubanek with us. Jimmy, you are a winner. How are you feeling after that one?
Honestly, I still can't believe it. It's pretty crazy to think about. I really got to thank my teammates. Mason helped push me. He did a little block for me at the end. Everyone from Freedom Motorsports and Next Level, it it's great.
Well, Jimmy, congrats, man, on that first victory. That's always a sweet one to have. And yeah, coming down to that end, like you said, you had Mason behind you there trying to help you out. Take us through it. What lane did y'all feel like was going to be the best? Because that y'all had the inside line and y'all were making it work, but did y'all feel like at some point you might have to jump up?
Honestly, I like the bottom line, and you could generate some really big runs. The guy in second really had to be on your bumper though and pushing, because those outside lines were getting a really good run on the restarts especially. But I don't know, I felt the inside was just perfectly fine, especially with my teammate behind me right there.
I mean, having that team help, teamwork certainly seemed like it was helping here tonight. I mean, Jimmy, you come into the night 21st in points. It was looking like you were going to need some great runs to make the playoffs. Well, now you can say you're booking your ticket to the playoffs. You are the 6th different winner in 6 races. How does that feel on the pressure wise, knowing that you're not fighting for points anymore? You can just try to run to find consistency moving forward.
Honestly, I'm just happy to get the first one out of the way. It's been a long time coming, and I just feel it's going to be great to actually get that pressure off and try to go for more in the next couple weeks and hopefully build a better record for the playoffs.
Hopefully that is the case, as that's going to be the 8 Machine, Jimmy Kubanek. Jimmy, before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any shout-outs.
Uh, Shout out to all the guys at Freedom Motorsports, Next Level. Shout out to Buzzio for putting this league on all the time. He's a great manager. He really cares about this league, and it's a great league. And shout out to my dad, my mom, my girlfriend for all letting me do this all the time. Uh, Gotta say shout out to my grandpa because he got me into racing back when I was really little. And yeah, I think that sums it up.
Well, that is going to be the 8 Machine and Jimmy Kubanek. Congratulations on this win. Congratulations on now making the playoffs, and good luck next week heading to Auto Club.
Thank you.
As we go from victory lane, we head to second place to a driver that almost came out of nowhere to finish second and almost winning the second super speedway of the season. We got Steven Borbell with us. Steven, what a run for yourself there late. I mean, I know that you kind of got boxed in by that of
Yeah.
Mason Hausman, but man, how are you feeling with that type of a run to come away with second?
Man, we almost had it again. Adam and I were really just taking it easy throughout the whole race pretty much, and then that caution came out with 20 to go, and we're like, it's time to go. So we just hung around, and thankfully some things happened on the backstretch. Got a huge run on Mason and Jimmy coming to the checkered. I know Mason came down into me, no harm, no foul. I had nowhere to go either way, so happy for Jimmy, happy for the finish.
Yeah, Steven, great job, man. Almost getting back to victory lane once again. One of these super speedways just coming up a little bit short here tonight. But take us through it, because you guys elected to ride in the back, like you said, and stay conservative for majority of the night. How tough was it to tame this this car here tonight? Because it looked like it was sometimes very, very free off the exits of these corners.
Yeah, we noticed that last night in our practice race with this setup. The car was just jumpy. If anyone touched you or coming out of the corners, like you said. So really just, I was expecting more cautions tonight. So Adam and I just wanted to sit back and see how it came. There weren't that many cautions, and I guess everyone saved the wrecking for the end, but as they typically do. but it was a handful to drive it sometimes, but it was fun.
Well, we're going from a handful here tonight, next week to Auto Club. How are you feeling going to another 2 mile track that we're expecting it to be kind of chaotic as well there?
I'm excited. I love the 1.5 miles and ups are my bread and butter. Any short track or road course I do not enjoy very much, so it should be a good change of pace.
Well, we can't wait to see how you're going to perform next week, Steven. And before we let you go, the floor's now yours for any shout outs.
Awesome. So this race paint was by my friend Alec. It was the Jimmy Johnson 2003 Daytona race. So just wanted to give him a quick shout out, and to all my other people that watch me. Also wanted to mention and give my thoughts and condolences to Monisa and her family with her grandfather passing away. Just know that keep their family in our thoughts and prayers.
Well, that is going to be the two machine of Steven Borbell just coming up, one car, one position off from winning here tonight. But good luck next week at Auto Club.
Awesome. Appreciate it, guys.
As we go from that, a second place, we head to third place as our spotlight driver. Gonna be that of Mason Hausman with us. Mason, you had a great job pushing Jimmy Kubinek there at the end. Man, how was it trying to help a teammate get his first win here tonight?
That's all I was trying to do this entire night. I was just trying to get Jimmy or someone up there to win because I already know I have a win. I know I've had a couple, like 3 rough weeks of points, so of course that was a big objective today as well, but also making sure that Jimmy could get that win to secure him in the playoffs.
That was great teamwork there, Mason, between you guys coming down to the end. And it takes a very, very much precision to push with these cars here tonight. We've seen a lot of guys getting a little bit off center and causing some incidents. How tough was it to make sure that you were pushing the 8 well, but not doing it too much?
I'm pretty sure I almost wrecked him. Going through the tri-oval, he got almost like around on my bumper because I went up a little bit and it almost turned him. But I mean, the entire night, the air off the cars was it was hard. I mean, like everyone's been saying, after like 10 laps on tires, those cars got loose in the rear. They wanted to go around, and if you notice, most of the wrecks happened after lap 10. So, I mean, that's a pretty big point to show that these cars were loose tonight and how much effort the drivers and me had to put in to make sure that we didn't wreck a lot, because I was expecting a lot more cautions tonight.
I think we were expecting a similar thing here tonight, especially with what we were hearing from the setup point of view and how loose it was. Mason, kind of throwing it back to last week, we know that there was kind of an altercation between yourself and Alex Coffey. And then tonight, with the aggressive blocking and defending on that of Borbell, is there a worrisome that there might be a bigger target game, bigger and bigger, as we're getting closer to the midway point of this regular season?
Bring it on. I'm all ready for it. I've got a great team backing behind me. I mean, these last 3 weeks have just been, or not these 3 weeks, but last 3 weeks have been just bringing up more an aggressive stay with me, with the Watkins gun, with me having to do a drive through because my internet was down. New Hampshire, me and Cody Reed getting into it. It was just a racing incident, no fault on him. And Bristol with me getting an invisible meatball and me getting DNF'd, and then and all that altercations came through, which I am very sorry about. I did not intentionally mean to wreck him, but it came across as that. So I know they're probably gonna have a different say onto it, but I've tried apologizing and I haven't gotten a message back. So I'm gonna say bring it on if they want to. If not, I'm willing to race for clean rest of the season.
It just makes it exciting for us up at the booth. Mason, we hope for some good finishes coming up, as Auto Club's going to be the next destination. But before we let you go, the floor is yours for any shout-outs.
I want to thank you guys for being along here this entire time and taking all of this stuff that we've given to you. Hopefully, it's been a good show. I want to thank my sponsors, Race Labs and Next Level Racing, for staying on the car after these last 3 weeks. Haven't been the best, but hopefully I put on a good show for them tonight. I want to give a shout out to Jimmy for getting his first win. Hopefully I did a good job protecting him with Steven Borbell. I want to give a shout out to Steven Borbell for being a good sport about it at the end of the race. And I want to thank all of Freedom Motorsports and Next Level Racing for being great partners and great people to work with.
As that is going to be the 78 of Mason Hausman. Congratulations on third place and good luck heading to Auto Club.
Thanks, guys.
As we go from interviews, let's take a look at the unofficial results of tonight's race, as we got to see 71 laps here at Daytona. For that of the military and veterans gamers, 200. Big thanks to MVG for being the main sponsor for tonight's race. Again, go back to the beginning of the broadcast where we got to talk to Austin. We got to give a little bit of more of a breakdown of what that military veterans gamers gives, and a great charity to look into and try to support, as tonight's race is a first-time winner. It's the 8 machine of Jimmy Kubanak, as well as the 2 of Steven Borbell, going to be in second place. Mason Hausman is going to be in third. Fourth goes to Gavin Rogers. Dakota Camper, what a recovery for the 43 and fifth. Alex Coffey going to get sixth. That of the 3 of TJ Roberts gets 7th. Another driver with a great recovery, the 6 machine of Alex Light in 8th. Ryan Thomas 9th, and that is Steve Cole finishing out your top 10.
And you look through the rest of the leaderboard there, it was tough endings for some good runs. I mean, you had drivers who really were up front majority of the race, like Steven Stympian in 12th, but just ended up in a bad position. Dallas Mansfield started 2nd. Carl Pooler there, he was wrecked near the end there in 15th. Adam Buzzio, he looked like he might get a good finish coming down to the end. He just couldn't come up with it. So tough breaks for a lot of these drivers, but that's just how Daytona and Super Speedway racing plays out. I mean, it's just luck of the draw sometimes where you're out on the racetrack, because major incidents happen and you just can't miss them because the high banks just clean up and pretty much form a roadblock. So tough breaks for them, but they go on the Auto Club next week where they can try to bounce back.
Gonna be a 2-mile super wide, plenty of attempts to make some passes. That Auto Club cannot wait for it. As you see the winning moment of the night, you get to see that of the 8 who crossed the line, getting ready for that last lap of Jimmy Kubanak. What a run for a driver to get that first win and get that monkey off his back. Again, 6 races, 6 different winners, Zach. I mean, that just means the streak continues on into next week. Cannot wait for it. But the rest of this week, we got plenty of other great racing action to be seen. Tomorrow night, it's the Stars and Stripes ARCA Series, as they get to have a very tough task as they take the ARCA cars to Rockingham. The Rock, bumpy, reckless, and who can survive? Can't wait for it. And then Saturday night, it's the start of a brand new season for the WSSR Roasted Gems Cup Series as they head to Daytona to start their season off. Zach, plenty of great racing action the rest of this week, and I know that you're mainly excited to see what happens on Saturday night.
That I am, Sam. I'm excited to see I can get the season started off for myself there and the drivers over at the World Series of Sim Racing. So I think we'll have a good one. We should have some wild moments, some big incidents, just like we've seen here tonight with Daytona with how tricky it is. But I think we'll also see some great racing just like we did tonight. So I'm excited to get back in the car and racing these next-gen series cars, because mostly been doing the trucks lately on full send on Tuesday nights, and we'll be back with them next week too. So I'm going to have a full schedule here for myself going forward.
And speaking of full schedule, that's exactly what we are ramping into here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting, with WSSR back with their season opener on Saturday. We come right back on a Monday night for the ISRC Truck Series, full send on that of Tuesday. And then it's the Wicked Racing League almost every Wednesday, getting to see how these drivers get to tackle Auto Club next week. Can we see a first-time winner? We'll have to wait and see. But for tonight, thank you for joining us for an incredible race. We needed only one attempt at overtime, and Jimmy Kubanak gets the win. Big thanks to those that were watching here on your Wednesday evening, and for us up in the booth, for myself, Sam Dyer, for Zach Hall, Robert Moyer Jr. running productions, and everyone else at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow night for the Stars and Stripes ARCA Series at The Rock, our next broadcast. Have a good one, and we'll see you then.